Good afternoon, sirs.
Good morning, Nikit. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, sir. Thank you.
Nikit, good morning.
So, can you briefly introduce yourself to us?
Okay, sir. Sir, my name is Nikit Singh. I am 23 years old. I have been born and brought up in Indore of Madhya Pradesh. Post that, I have done my graduation in Bachelor's of Arts from GACC College in Indore itself. After that, I had a brief stint as a travel concierge officer in the Jas Yatra Tours and Travels.
Nikit, since you are from Indore, the first question which comes to my mind is the test day which took place in Indore recently. In the cleanest city of the country, this test day has been really heartbreaking. How did it happen? And do you think this tag of cleanest city is really proper and appropriate for this city in view of what has happened?
Sir, prima facie, there definitely appears to be a contradiction because we have topped the Swachh Sarvekshan rankings for the 8 times. However, the recent water contamination issue has put certain spots on it. I would like to here clarify that the rankings of the Swachh Sarveshan is based on the citizen feedback, ODF plus status, sanitation, and the solid waste management as such. This is different from the page and Sarvekshan. Definitely, we need to do better in the water itself. However, the criteria for the two were different. On the other hand, the reasons for the recent issues were firstly the rupturing of the protective casing of the pipeline, which led to intermixing of the sewerage pipelines and the water treatment pipelines. Thus, it led to diarrhea and the other issues among the Bhagirathpur area in my city. Secondly, the other reason is the lack of grievance redressal mechanism because even in October of 2025, certain complaints were made. However, they were not acted upon. So, if the GRM was taken properly, then maybe the issue could have avoided, sir.
Nikit, what worries me basically is the carelessness of the administration and the officers in the Nagar Nigam, basically the municipal corporation, which is supposed to take care of these things. Uh, if they were not receptive to the complaints, if they did not bother about the complaints, how they have been getting the cooperation of the people to make the city so clean and good? I mean, it shows that they were not receptive. So how is it they were getting the support of people in cleanliness? It is absolutely, it can't be explained.
Definitely, there were certain administrative gaps. However, a file was stuck as well because the tender for the protective casing was passed. However, the work on it had not started as such. So there are gaps in implementation as well, though the file was cleared as such.
Now, I find that you have very interesting hobbies. Uh, you have written a book, Council of the Beasts. What does it really cover? Because the title of the book seems quite interesting to me.
Okay, sir. Sir, the title of my book is related to a council which the animal formed so as to replace the zookeeper. The zookeeper was trying to displace them through metaverse and AI. Thus, he wanted to create synthetic animals. However, the animals raise up against him and they fight and replace him, ultimately forming their government. However, as soon as they do it, infighting starts between them. So, in the end, I have presented optimism that sustained cooperation is required rather than one time cooperation, whether it is at the United Nations or it is at the WTO or for the climate change or for other things as such.
Uh, that is certainly quite interesting. And another hobby is that you are learning French and you are interested in the uh, relations between our country and France. Why there is political instability in France? The government have changed so many times in the last few years.
So there are several reasons. The first reason is the composition of the party. Now the parties out of the six dominant parties have a total majority in the 520 seat National Assembly as such. Even the ruling government has less than 240 seats as such. Further, the frequent transition of prime minister is also due to the cohabitation policies, where many at times the president and the prime ministers are from different parties, leading to frictions and often resignations as such. However, in the recent times, the point of contention has been the social security reforms, the pension reforms as such, which leads to various resignations and the recollaborations among the various parties in the alliance.
Okay, I think Ambassador Goel would like to confront you more on this. So I will request Ambassador Goel to ask questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Uh, Nikit, what's the meaning of your name, Nikit?
The meaning of my name is someone who is warm and friendly.
Where is it coming from? Which language? Never heard of it before. Is it Hindi?
Sir, it is not Hindi as such. It is epigraphically traced to the Central Asian region and the Russian languages as such.
I see. Okay. All right. Nikit, let us carry on about France. Now, the chairman was asking you about the internal conditions in France. Let me go beyond this. India and France traditionally have had very warm relations. Okay. And mind you that you have chosen IFS as the second option. So I expect that you will know a bit more deeply about the foreign relations part of it. What do you think will be the impact on these relations, particularly in view of the recent developments regarding Ukraine? You know that UK and France have been talking about providing security for Ukraine. USA agreed to provide security. Russia, Ukraine. We are also good friends with Russia, but Russia is still determined to go ahead in Ukraine territory. So take everything into account and tell me in the next 1 minute what we should look forward to in the relationship.
Sir, the relation is based on the friendship rather than alliance, which we traditionally see in the Europe as such. Thus, I
Hmm.
believe that India and France would rather be comfortable with each other because both of them are strategically autonomous nations as such. Definitely, France is a part of NATO and it actively supports the Ukraine. However, it has been accepting of Indian position because Indian side is also pushing for peace only. We have not picked any side as such. Thus, as the Mr. French President, Mr. Emmanuel Macron had himself tweeted one day that he congratulated Mr. Modi for informal dialogue between Mr. Putin and the Mr. Zelensky as such. Thus, India is actively supporting French efforts for peace as well.
Hmm. What are the actual main elements in India-France relationship?
Sir, there are several elements. First element is of defense, which brings us together. We have defense
Hmm.
partnership with respect to the Rafale engines, the Hammer missiles as such recently, as well as the three exercises conducted by Army, Navy, and the forces, air forces. Secondly, we have a robust economic partnerships. We have a trade of $15 billion. And now the France is also acting as a bridge between India and the FTA of European Union as such.
Hmm.
Thirdly, the cooperation in the energy field can be visible from nuclear energy to even the International Solar Alliance in the 2015 and Indian support to
Hmm.
the Paris Agreement as such, where it has completed 60% of the targets before 2030. Fourthly, in the cultural
Okay.
sphere as well. Okay.
Okay. Let us come to the nuclear field. Russia is competitor of France in supplying nuclear reactors to India. Have you heard of the small modular reactors?
Yes, sir, I have heard of it.
Okay. When Russia competes with France in supplies of the nuclear modular reactors, and they are a good part of our new nuclear policy, do you think that is going to create some differences?
Sir, there could be differences in normal scenario. However, India is such a peaceful nation and it has always used the nuclear energy for peaceful purposes ever since it developed it. Thus, there is lack of
Hmm.
contradiction between our policies. On the one hand, Russia is supplying us VVER 1200 type fuel for the Kalpakkam or the Kakrabar power plants is there. On the other
Hmm.
hand, we are collaborating with the France for the Jetapur power plants for the small modular reactors so as to bolster our energy for bringing a coordination between our policies. We have also recently envisaged a bill for it.
Okay. Let us move away from France for the time being and let us come to RCEP. Do you know the reasons for India not signing RCEP? And what do you think? Should India have signed the RCEP or was it a right decision?
Sir, India did not sign the RCEP because of the fact that we already had an FTA with the Asian countries. Moreover, the Chinese dumping of goods could have been there to the rerouting of the various supply chains and the goods and services. So that the already we have a trade deficit of $100 billion almost with the China. So it could have further escalated. Currently, I believe that we have already surpassed RCEP by signing new FTAs with the almost all the countries in the RCEP countries minus China. Thus, we have explored the FTA with New Zealand as well. We are talking about extending SEPA with Australia to another FTA. Thus, we are into RCEP, but it is without China, and the name has changed due to our partnership with the multiple nations in that region.
You need, in that context, you said that we have signed FTAs with practically all the countries except China. Have you read the recent NITI Aayog report, according to which the countries with which we have signed the FTAs, the trade gap actually has increased? So, if that is the case, then it makes no difference whether we sign RCEP or we sign FTA. The trade gap is increasing in any case.
Sir, yesterday only Niti Aayog presented a report where it presented an average of 49.3% increase in our trade deficit with the countries which we have recently signed FTA. But even if we had signed the RCEP as well, then also the deficit would have increased. But the fact that we have access to their markets, we are focusing on competitiveness. So slowly the deficit would bridge. So for example, we have electronic component manufacturing scheme. So we are boosting our competitiveness as well. Moreover,
Nikit, sorry, please do address the point that it makes no difference whether you sign RCEP or not in terms of keeping the trade gap. So it makes no difference according to this report. So then why not sign the RCEP?
So definitely our competitiveness would slowly improve. We could do better. However, our prime focus was to prevent dumping, and I believe that we have been successful in doing that.
All right. Thank you very much, Nikit. Mr. Chairman.
Professor Kapoor.
Thank you, Chairman, sir. Hello, Nikit. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. Thank you.
Nikit, what do you think about corruption? Is it mainly an ethical failure or an institutional failure?
Sir, India is 80th number in the CPI index. Definitely, the failure is both institutional and ethical. Institutionally, if we see the various clauses which exempted civil servants were one of the reasons. Moreover, the other factors are responsible as well. For example, the lack of transparency with respect to government contracts and tenders. On the ethical level, we can see that we are still, despite the its nature, on the most poorest section, which is harmful in nature, we have been still not been able to solve the corruption. Thus, it is both institutional and ethical in nature.
Okay. Nikit, why do custodial violence and abuse of power continue regardless of the legal framework?
Sir,
despite the fact we have various legal safeguards available, then why do these all custodial violence and abuse of power is there in police especially?
the first reason is that the law is there, but the enforcement often lacks. Despite the DK Basu guidelines, which explicitly prohibits the custodial deaths as such or the custodial violence, the often at times the neither the police is informed about that, nor the under trial is informed about that, leading to the custodial violence as such. Secondly, the lack of access to justice, for example, the pro bono justice or the Nyaya Bandhu program of the government of India. So the under trials are often stuck in that jail as such, leading to their custodial violence as well. Thirdly, the attitude or the ivory tower approach of the police, where it suggests that it is the jury, judge, and executioner rather than just the part of executive, is also a factor.
Okay. Have you heard about prosecution?
Sir, I have heard about it in general sense.
In general sense, do you think there is a need of a separate prosecution service in India?
So considering the fact that our under trials have almost 60% and there is so much the capacity of the prison is overloaded as well, we could definitely explore a prosecution service model with the federal model and the with the more talks with the states through interstate council.
Okay. In the recent Shanti bill, what are the concerned risks involved?
Sir, there are several concerns which have been raised. First concern is related to the removal of supplier liability as such, thus marking a shift from CNLD at 2010. Secondly, even the operator liability has been capped from 1500 crores to 3000 crore maximum. Thus, after that, the government would pay from its pocket, which would ultimately would have to be borne by the taxpayers as such. So that is another concern as well. And the third concern is related to the issue part where the 49 percentage is only allowed for the private sector. So if we are doing it for the ease of doing business, then we should have definitely explored a greater limit or even a symbolic limit of 51 percentage as such. However, the AERB statutory status or the further reforms in the bill could help in that regard.
Okay. In which areas in this Shanti bill privatization is still not allowed?
So one such area which comes to my mind is isotopic separation, where the private parties won't be allowed. Secondly, even the fuel fabrication part has certain limits.
Okay. Nikit, one more thing, is intolerance in society increasing, or people are simply expressingly more in social media openly?
Sir, it could be said both. The intolerance is becoming more visible rather than increasing because we have platforms to see what the people can do if they are intolerant. On the other hand, the hate crimes, the social media approach, or the rumor spreading, fake rumor mongering which happens, it is also getting incremented due to the current times. Thus, intolerance is both getting visible and is getting increased.
Okay. What is the decision regarding the census which has been taken recently by the government?
So two such decisions comes to our mind. Firstly, that the caste census would be undertaken, and secondly, it would be the first fully digital census as such.
Under which law census will be conducted?
Sir, as far as I can recall, it would be conducted under Census Act 1948 and 1991 rules.
Why don't we conduct census under Citizenship Act? If we already have Citizenship Act, why do we need Census Act?
Sir, because census as such is a union subject, and after that we could have done it under the Citizenship Act, but the census is done much broader manner than just determining who is the citizen or not. Whole residents are covered. The whole economic criteria is also covered. Now we are exploring caste census as well. So a separate law for it would definitely would have helped.
Okay. Will the census, whatever census will be conducted, upcoming census, will the data of that will be used for the delimitation?
Sir, currently Home Minister has not specified in that regard, and it has no plans to do it as well. However, since the amendment in 2001, which was later amended in 2003 as well, it suggested that the delimitation exercise can be done after the first census, which is completed in 2026.
Okay. That's it. Thank you, Nikki.
Thank you, sir.
Nikit, the formal interview is over now, and we will share with you our assessment. I have a few points to make. You did clear mains and you appeared for interview once. Is that correct?
Sir, I was not able to clear mains in the earlier attempt.
You did appear for interview once before.
No, sir, this is my first interview.
I saw in the resume that, okay, maybe it was not clear. You have very interesting hobbies. So you can certainly expect a lot of questions regarding your hobbies, and especially about since you are learning French and you are working on Indo-French relations. So certainly there will be questions, and you have to be better prepared regarding that. because some questions were asked by Mr. Goel. I think you need to be better prepared on this Indo-French relations, especially in view of whatever is happening. Now, one or two comments. Firstly, I find your face looks very serious. It will be better if you try to, smile more, and from the face it looks you are slightly tense. So try to smile and present a better appearance that way. About
Okay,
your
sir.
dress, your shirt collar is coming over your jacket collar. I think this you have to really take care. Put a proper
Okay, sir.
tie, and your dress has to be, more proper.
Yes, sir. Sir, this is not my official dress as such.
Pardon?
Sir, this is not my official dress which I would be wearing.
Yeah,
My tie is in Delhi, so I just do it.
yeah. Because today I find that
Yes, sir.
it doesn't look very good, really.
Yes, sir.
Uh, so you are confident, but sometimes I find you are speaking too fast. So
Okay, sir.
uh, I don't know what other honorable members feel, but this is what I found, that sometimes you are speaking too fast. So try to smile more. That will show
Okay, sir.
that you are more confident. Uh, that is all from my side. Ambassador
Okay, sir.
Goel?
Nikit, what is your assessment of the interview today?
Sir, I believe that I could have done better on the smiling part. Normally, I smile. I don't know why in this interview didn't happen. After that, I think
Okay.
it was largely fine.
And when is the interview scheduled?
Sir, 22nd January.
So you have about 2 weeks,
Yes, sir.
less than 2 weeks.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Nikit, as far as I'm concerned, the Mr. Chairman has already indicated to you that when you indicate a subject to be your hobby, particularly something like Indo-France relations, I would have expected you to be slightly more thorough and incisive in what you were saying. Firstly, relationship between any two countries. It can be warm, it can be friendly, it can be like Pakistan, full of animosity, but it really depends upon our own interest, national interest. So, if as we move along, if France finds that the interests have begun to diverge, naturally there will be a coldness in the relationship. And at the moment, we are warm towards each other because of the dependence on the defense imports, because of the trade and the European Union. But if Russia comes into play once again in terms of various kinds of energy security, nuclear energy, remember Arctic, Russia can be the route for us to travel to Arctic and beyond.
Yes, sir.
Arctic is the new connectivity project. So rather than saying that, yes, and you use the word very strangely, that alliance between India and France.
No, sir. I said that we are not just allied. We are not just allied. We are friends as such.
You said we are not just allied.
Yes, sir. I could have framed that better.
Yes. So choose your words very carefully, number
Yes, sir.
one. Number two, I would suggest that read a bit more about trade and economic matters.
Yes, sir.
By the budget data is already starting to come out. The discussions are taking place. I found that on RCEP, you were a little hesitant and trying to be defensive. RCEP is not just about trade. RCEP was economic resilience project, supply chain resilience. Because nowadays the entire economic connectivity is supply chain.
Yes, sir.
And personally, I felt by not signing RCEP, we actually lost out on an opportunity to be part of a supply chain in Southeast Asia. But anyway, that is my view. Think of
Okay,
it from the different point of view. That's all I was saying. And answers are too long. Try and condense them, make them shorter,
sir.
sharper.
Okay, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
and
sir.
that will be those will make more impact, greater impact. All
Okay,
right.
sir.
All the best to you, Nikit.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chan.
Professor Kapoor.
Yes. Nikit, you are a good candidate. Especially you have studied your current affair part very well. All I need to add one more thing that if there is any question about the police, then you also need to mention about the landmark judgment of Prakash Singh.
Yes, sir.
You missed telling that. And if there is anything related to corruption, you may also refer about the second ARC.
Yes,
So
sir.
you could have given the reference from there also instead of just sharing your opinion or just rhetoric statements. So this is very important. Otherwise, you're a good candidate. Just take care of these things. I wish you all the very best of luck. Thank you.
Okay, Nikit, you are a good candidate and we wish you all the best.